beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Georgia. So let's get into this review of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 19, titled Town Hall Downfall. So the episode started out with where we left off with Marsau and Mel having a little get together, and just discussing what he said about her business not being relevant. And Mel is letting him know that him talking about her business in that way is not right, because like she said, we help you and your family get where you are. So for you to downplay what I'm saying, for you to downplay my businesses, not just businesses, then that's not cool. Marsau goes on to say that he believes his statement was taken out of context by Nell and Chris Fletcher, and the way it came back to her was not the way he meant it. It took a little while to get there, but Marsau did apologize. He told her that he doesn't look down on her business. He didn't know she was still doing property preservation. And she's like, yes, you do know because you see it on social media. He doubled down and said, no, he didn't know. He apologized and saying that even though she mentioned that he also sells t-shirts, he's saying that it's a little trinket for him. It's not his bread and butter. And he's not looking at her business that way. But like I said, they talked about it, and he invited her to come to their town hall meeting to get feedback about the first Black Expo. And he told her that it would be good if she could attend because it could use some help. And you know, even though it started off kind of tense with with him and Melody, at the end everything turned out well. Where he invited her and she accepted, and they kind of had like you could feel the tension, lessen as they were talking. So I think it just took some time for them to come together and let it be known. Mel let him know that, listen, going forward, watch how and what you say about me and my business, because it's not going to be good if you don't. And Marsau agreed. So they came to some sort of truce. Who knows what's going to happen with round 6, because that was round 5 of Marsau and Mel. Who knows if they may blow up again. All right, so now we have Tiffany and Louis. They go for a picnic in the park. It took the little baby Ace with them. And it was basically Tiffany letting Louis know that, listen, when we agreed to have a baby, I didn't know you wouldn't be there. Louis let us know that he was offered a job at A&M University. I think it's one of his dream jobs to be a baseball coach. And he took the opportunity, but the opportunity wasn't there when he and Tiffany was, thinking about having a child. Well, it was Tiffany, because Louis was saying, no, we're not going to have a baby because you're too busy. Finally, he said, okay. And now the opportunity came around, and Tiffany is letting him know that she misses him in the house. He told her that you kind of waited kind of long to have the baby, because look at the age gap between the baby and our sons. She said in her mind, she had something visualized where the baby would be there. And you know what I think happened with Tiffany? When she was she's working, we have Louis doing most of the things with the boys, and then running his gym or training center or whatever it is. And I don't think Tiffany valued him as a husband in that way. But now that he's out of the house and going on road trips, the most he was doing before was taking the boys to their away game and just being at the gym. But now that he's a coach for a university, they have road trips they got to be on, and he's away. Tiffany wanted to have that baby handed over to Louis, have him do all the work, and she still go on into the office. But that's not how it's working out. And now she's upset about it. She's telling him that she wants more quality time with him and wants him to be home more. And Louis is like, so what do you want me to do? Stop working? And of course not, because she also wants a man who has money. She already told us that in previous episodes, that she doesn't want to be the breadwinner. She wants the man to actually make the bacon. What did they say? Make the bacon, bring it home, and cook it up. And she still goes out and work and hold on to her money. Tiffany needs to be more realistic. You can't have the man be out at work and still be in the home doing everything. So who knows what's gonna happen? She says she's going through postpartum depression right now. She's having thoughts that Lewis is going away on road trips. He's gonna meet some little young thing, and then he's gonna come home one day and tell her he don't want to be with her no more. Oh my God. And Louis said to her, listen, one thing about me, I'm true to my word. I know what I have going on at home, and I know I'm a family man. So Tiffany just need to relax. Oh, Tiffany not really having a storyline right now. How about Tiffany, you give us a storyline and what you actually do? If you're, it seems like you work for yourself, you're not working for a corporation. So you could take the baby with you, when time in a little bit, when he's a little bit older, take the baby to you with to work, or even have a daycare, and just take us on your journey about what you do. The only thing we hear you say is that you help people secure grants and stuff like that. So what exactly is it you do? We all want to know. So give us a storyline on that, and then you'll have, some place to be. Don't be starting fight with your husband on camera just to have a storyline. Kiki not trying to come around for you to be her punching bag. So therefore, you got to come again, girl. Give us something different. All right. So now the town hall meeting post a Black Expo, which was Kimmy's idea today of is the town hall meeting. Everybody's arriving. We see Maurice arrives first. Then we have Martell. Martell is there next. Then we see Tisha. No, I think it was Stormy and Courtney, and then Tisha and Marsau. Everybody's greeting everybody. Stormy goes out of her way not to greet Marsau, and Marsau gets to the confessional like, well, Stormy didn't greet me. I am so upset. I am so disappointed. And of course, the sarcasm is dripping from there. So, all right, so now we know where the tension is, because we all know when Stormy's upset with somebody, she's not going to greet them. She tried not to greet Mel when they were at the baby reveal, and she tried not to greet Tisha when they're at the baby reveal. Come on, Stormy, you're acting real juvenile now. And even in this meeting, you were like hella juvenile. I'm like, my gosh, really, girl? How old are you? You got to be better than that. So, they're going around the meeting. Then we see Kimmy comes in, and then a little bit after that, at one point, they were talking about the meeting that Marsau had with Mel, and Marsau was telling them, what transpired, and that he even apologized to Mel. And at that point, Mel walked in, and everybody was like, is that right, Mel? Did Marsau really apologize? And Mel said, yes, it took a while, but he did apologize, and we have an agreement, and we have an understanding moving forward, and we're good. So now we're talking about what could be done to keep, for the next Black Expo, which they are planning to have. Here is some of the feedback from what they saw. So Mel starts off with telling them that they could have had, right afterwards, they could have had like breakout sessions for people who are in certain fields, where they could exchange information and get feedback and get some, just more interaction as business owners. Like, here we are, here I am, and an attorney, here's my card, this is what I could offer you, and stuff like that. So Mel said what she had to say, and here comes Stormy without being, did anybody ask Mel to speak? No, nobody asked Mel. So Stormy, of course, jumped in as well and said, well, for me, I needed to see more of a motivational speech to get the audience going. And she said a little bit more than that, but Marsau was like, well, we could all start out with ray, rah, rah, we're here, we're going to have a great time, whatever. And then they leave with nothing. So with that, now we have, I believe it was Maurice, who's actually, picked it up and is talking about it. But under her breath, we hear Stormy tell her husband that Marsau is acting like a bee. And Marsau, of course, overhears it because everybody's mic'd up. Come on. So Marsau's like, yes, I am. I am a bad bee. I'm a big bee. I'm a big bee. And I'm like, okay, this is getting Stormy riled up. So now we have Marsau in the confessional saying that he knows what Stormy is doing. He knows that she's trying to get a rise out of him. But, as it's gonna be, she's gonna be the one here leaving upset. And of course, that is how it happened. When they were getting ready to leave, when Stormy realized she could not get under Marsau's skin, she's whispering back and forth to her husband, her poor husband. I feel so sorry for that man. She think that Courtney's just gonna get up and just beat up anybody that she said. She points to him and say, "Beat him up, honey." She think that's what's gonna happen. But when they're getting up to leave, Marsau with his petty self gets up and he's like, "Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Steele, thank you for your time." That was funny to me. And she whispers to Courtney. He does that ish all the time. So Courtney goes, "You know my name is so and so, and she's Steele." He's like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Just like how you didn't know that Nell and Mel own a daycare center. Just like how you didn't know that Mel still got her property preservation going on. Also, you are so petty. And of course, you admitted to that in the confessional.
Now, at first you don't succeed being petty, try again. Do a little dart at the end.
Seems like this was a massive failure.
You need a drink on
It
your
wasn't a
husband.
failure for me.
You need a drink on your husband.
It wasn't a failure for me.
You've been failing our meeting.
Throughout the meeting, while they were talking, it seems that Marsau was getting under everybody's skin, and he was enjoying it. He was just throwing jabs all across the room. So, what was I saying? While they were talking, Stormy went in the confessional and said, "If I realized that, we weren't here just to give them critique and feedback for the next Black Expo that they're doing, and we're supposed to be their support system, I wouldn't have come, because I thought we were doing this as a collective. And if that's the case, if this is what is their event, then I don't need to be here." And I think that's when they decided to get up and leave, because she turned to her husband and said, "Honey, you ready to go?" Okay, at some point now, Marsau says, "Everything that has been said to me or said to us in this meeting, we're going to take it and we're going to implement it." And Tiffany goes, "Even the things that the women say." So, of course, Marsau takes that on. Marsau has already told us in the past that he loves this banter. He loves when people try to take jabs, because he's going to come back even harder. So he says to Tiffany, "I know you're not being valued at home, or your opinion not being valued at home, but we're going to value what you have to say here." And everybody was like, "Oh my God, why is Marsau talking like that?" So, all right, they're going on a little bit longer. I'm jumping all over the place because it was a lot going on in that town hall meeting. So at one point now we had, I believe it was Melody, who had something to say about how the Black Expo was organized. Tisha was quiet all along, with everybody throwing things out and saying what they have to say. But the minute Mel said it was a bit disorganized, Tisha was like, "So what are you saying? It wasn't organized?" She's like, there were little sections that we could have paid more attention to, but overall, the whole event was organized. And Mel was like, "No, it wasn't. There were things, like you said, that could have been better, but you're just not going to discount what I'm saying just, because I'm saying it." Because she noticed as well, Mel did, that Stormy had something to say. Tiffany had something to say. Kimmy had something to say, and Tisha did not respond to anything those ladies said. But the minute that Mel opened her mouth, that's the only time that Tisha was ready to speak. Now, I thought Tisha and Mel were trying to get back to a good place. So why is it that Tisha is behaving that way? She likes to say that Mel likes to throw the rock and hide her hands, but I don't see that happening. And I think the producers are giving us, everything that is being done. There's no shady editing going on, in my opinion. So why is Tisha still upset? So we need to find out why. Because eventually they are going to become friends. I think that they're going to be back friends. And Mel is going to help Tisha with everything that she's got going on or need help with. But let's see how things play out. So now we had Mel leave because she had a flight to catch, and they were talking. At one point, we had Kimmy saying this is going to go down as another meeting that's non-productive, because Marsau will not stop. He will not stop. Because the thing about it, Marsau will not let you say what you have to say and get away with it, especially if it's directed at him. He's going to answer. So they're going to have to find out. Now, the tension between Marsau and Stormy, we all know, started when he asked her for that $100. Can I borrow $100 till tomorrow? And it just seems like it's not gonna go away. I don't know when this is gonna end. I don't know when this is gonna end between Stormy and Marsau. But let's see how it plays out. So they kept the meeting going a little bit longer, even though Mel left and then we had Stormy and Courtney leave. They still went on a little bit longer. We don't know when they're gonna have another one. And I don't even, he did take some notes, so hopefully something comes from the meeting, even though it was a little bit tense. I hope something comes from the meeting. And for once, it's good to see that it wasn't Marsau and Melody going at it. It was Stormy and Marsau at this point, because she's not backing down and he's not backing down. They called him, let me get the last word in. Mr. Let me get the last word in. And yes, he lived up to his name. All right, so now we leave that scene and we have Kimmy and Miss Nell meeting. So Kimmy called Miss Nell and asked her to come by her office because she wanted to talk to her personally. She let us know that Huntsville is a small town and she doesn't want it to get back to Miss Nell that they had yet another meeting and she was not invited. So, they came over. There was also tension there. And she asked her, Kimmy asked Miss Nell, so are we good? How are things with you and Tisha? So she answered, how she answered. But she's like, anyway, I want to talk to you about us and what happened at the town. And we had the town hall meeting. Remember, I told you we were going to have one. But this meeting was mostly geared toward feedback from the last meeting. So that is why you were invited. So Miss Nell was like, I could have came and still give some, some criticism, even not criticism, but I could have came and give you some feedback because, like we said before, we have been oldest business couple in this town. We have been around for over 30 years. And Kimmy was like, but it was my meeting and I choose to have who I have there. Miss L was like, yes, you're right. But at the same time, I could have come and gave some information to you guys that could be helpful to you. So Kimmy was like, you're right about that. And maybe the next one you'll be able to be there. Did she say anything, something like that? I believe she did. But at the end, they left. She's like, I just wanted to let you know about it and to let you know that we're good. So are we good? And Miss L was like, heck yes. Yes, I'm a little bit disappointed that I wasn't there. We're just getting to know each other and stuff like that. So I'm sure we'll get more opportunities to work together. So we're good. So Kimmy was like, yes, you're a nice lady and everything, but I know in all of us, we could be a little bit nice, nasty. So they had a cute little chuckle over that. And then we had Kimmy telling her, listen, I can't be afforded to be giving out purses to make sure that we're in a good space. So they had even more of a laugh regarding that one. So we're talking about Stormy and Destiny. Remember when Stormy gave Destiny a purse, the Gucci purse? That Destiny claimed she lost. Girl, lost it at the airport. Yeah, right. I hope you sold that and got a nice little change for that. Anyway, so that was the meeting between those two ladies. I think they're going to be really good friends. If they happen to become enemies, that's going to be a clash that we do not want to see. We need to keep Kimmy and Miss Nell as friends, because if there's tension there, because we all see that Miss Nell is not about to back down. She's about to do her thing. So I'm glad they're showing more of her this season, and I'm looking forward to see more of her going forward in the upcoming seasons. So that's where we are with Kimmy and Miss Nell. They're on good terms. We now need to see Miss Nell and Tisha have a conversation and see where they stand. At the table at the baby reveal, there was some tension. So they need a one-on-one. Miss Nell and Tisha needs to have a one-on-one. And that's going to be interesting to watch. Now we get to see Martell and Fred. Hey, Fred! Martell and Fred. Fred is a good friend to Martell because of all the stuff that's been going on. For Fred to still be in his circles and call him his business partner, that's a good guy right there. He is patient. He is kind. Hi, Fred. So we are at a site of a new house that Martell and Fred are building. Fred makes sure that he went in to tell us that Martell did all of the legwork to get this house up and going. Martell tells us that he had to put his work on hold for a couple of years because of the bankruptcy that he and Mel filed. And as we saw in a first scene where Mel was talking to Marsau, Mel let us know that Martell filed for bankruptcy first with the intention of leaving all of their bills on her. So because of that, she had to file for bankruptcy. She told Marsau, you haven't been through a divorce, so you don't know the process of it, but that's what happened. And you filed for bankruptcy because you're bad at finances. I forgot to put that part in the first part. So that was Mel and Marsau. Marsau couldn't say anything but just sit there and look at her like, did she really just say that? Yep, Mel got it. If she need it, she'll use it. If not, she won't. So he's letting us know that, this is his first project that he's been working on since all of that happened. He's finally getting back on his feet. And even though we may not like him as a husband or whatever, we got to root for him because he needs to get on his feet to be able to help Mel with these kids. He needs to be able to take care of his kids. So we're going to root for him and cheer for him in that aspect. Now we see Chris Fletcher stops by and they're talking. And he's like, okay, so when is this going to be done? And I'm going to list it, right? So, of course, as a broker, that's what they all do. They want to be able to sell your house for you. And Martell was like, I don't know if I'm even going to sell it when it's done because I might have to live in it. Chris was like, well, talk about that. When you moving out? He just segued right into that. Martell left himself wide open for that. And he did it in front of Fred. I'm like, okay, I guess they're cool like that. He's like, when are you moving out? He said the owner of the house needs to be in the house. And Martha was like, in a week and a half. Chris was like, no. 2 weeks ago, you told me you were moving out in 2 weeks. And Martha was like, so when is 2 weeks? He's like, tomorrow. You need to get the hell out of this house tomorrow. He goes in the confessional. He tells us that he's giving Martell, he's giving him grace for so long that he cannot do it anymore. And Martell needs to move out of the house right away. So, of course, Fred jumps in and he's like, so, Martell, you got somewhere to go? Martell's like, yeah. So Chris was like, so why aren't you moving? Move by this weekend. Martell's like, bring the trucks. So you're going to help me bring the trucks around and get me out of there? And he was like, yeah, we could get that happen. So I'm guessing Martell needed help to get out of the house. So he's going to move out. Now they get onto the subject of the town hall. Martell tells him a little bit about the town hall. And then they get onto the subject about him having dinner with Tisha and Marsau. And Chris, the bone carrier, I'm gonna call him the TikTok guy. This is the bone carrier now. He made sure he told Martell that Marsau says, about Scott, like, where are they now? Who's the new owner now? Who's in charge now? Or something like that. Martell got heated. You could just see the steam coming off the top of his head. And he was like, they need to realize that we got them where they are. So now we're finding out how the business relationship works. So Melody and Martell have Holt and Holt. Then they started Scott with Marsau with the intention of building it up to the point where they could buy out Melody and Martell and they could get them on their feet and get them going. So now we're finding out how the relationship went. Martell is big on loyalty. It's apparent because he just went from one to 100 real quick, as they say. He's like, he needs to realize that, we got them. Of course, he's talking at a more elevated tone, fast or whatever. We need to, he needs to realize that we got them to where they were when they needed it. And at one point, I forgot what he said. I forgot what Chris Fletcher said, and Martell was like, slap. I'm like, what? Chris found that to be funny as well. And he is mad as heck. He is mad as heck about the statement that Marsau made about it. He's like, you don't act like we haven't helped you. That's what he's saying to the guys, but he's actually talking about the behavior with Marsau. And yeah, Marshall got upset real quick because, like I said, he's big on loyalty. If I've helped you, you need to acknowledge that. And Marsau is not doing that. So I'm assuming there's gonna be a scene with Marsau and Martell talking about that statement. But that's where the episode ended. It was not kind of all over the place, but that town hall meeting, I had to rewatch that a couple of times because there was so much going on. We had people talking over each other and stuff, people whispering, Stormy whispering to Courtney and stuff like that. But yeah, that is the episode for this week. There is a lot going on with it, and I'm guessing throughout the next episodes and stuff where they're gonna unpack it. I do know, or we do know, that the reunion was filmed recently in LA, and I was watching social media to see if anything was being leaked. Mel looked beautiful in her reunion dress, by the way. So did Miss Nell. I haven't seen everybody's reunion dress, but the reunion host, which is Carlos, was coming onto his Instagram, and it's like, oh my God, all you can see is like, you don't want to miss this reunion. So we need to know. And Mel also came onto her Instagram page and said, this episode that we just watched last Saturday, it was a big deal at the reunion. So I'm guessing we had Marsau and Stormy going at each other at the reunion because we saw it happening at the town hall meeting. But yeah, guys, that is my recap and my review of this episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 19, titled Town Hall Downfall. I don't know exactly how much more episodes are left, but I will continue to review until we get through it all. And remember, we also do review for Bell Collective, and that is coming back pretty soon. So make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, be sure to take care of yourselves and your families. Bye-bye.